took over for Yondu.
Kurt from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, that doesn't matter about Gilmore. Stop bringing up the Gilmore Girls. If you bring up Gilmore Girls one more time in a Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel situation,
who he
I am going to
is!
lose my mind.
You've already lost it.
Welcome back to Eye to Eye, the place where we talk about anything and everything Disney. My name's Kyle.
And my name is Jessica, and tonight we are here to discuss a spoiler-filled...
Watch all the warning lights go off there. Spoilers.
Spoilers about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes, it is finally time for us to talk about all the things that we couldn't talk about in our Grade That Movie segment of this, where it's spoiler free. So if you haven't seen it and you want our thoughts about it, grades and otherwise, that is the place you need to go first.
Or if you're a glutton for punishment and sometimes like to see what's going to happen before it happens, come on.
You could.
But we've warned you.
You have been warned from this point forward. All right, Jessica, first thing that comes to mind, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Well, there was a lot of animal hate. So I can't call it abuse because it was CGI. Thank goodness.
It was depicting animal abuse.
But yeah, so that was traumatizing.
Yes.
I did not know that that was going to be such a profound aspect of this movie. It was like 50, 60% of the movie was all about that evil guy
Yes.
trying to create a perfect world, hurting animals and stuff. That was horrible.
The High Evolutionary in this one is an evil big bad
He's
entity.
probably the evilest evil of all the evils that we've seen in not Guardians, but in all of Marvel.
That's a good point, because this villain became more the maniacal, like, I'm just evil for evil that hasn't been there. So, like, think back a couple of villains here. So,
you know who he was like?
Who?
Thanos.
But even Thanos, think about why he was doing that. I don't agree with it, but his was for the greater good in terms of, like, he's trying to help the resources get alleviated by eliminating half the life in the earth. So
yeah, I mean...
And he was doing it mercifully, whereas High Evolutionary was literally torturing, dismembering, and killing people,
Yes.
Animals
Yes.
and other species
just
for
to
no
create
reason.
perfect. And then, yeah, it would blow up whole planets when they were no longer perfect.
After he created them and viewed himself as God. So this
I
guy...
was gonna say, let's be grateful that he is not a real God.
Right.
And that we serve a much more merciful God than him.
Absolutely. And that's the crazy thing about this one is I've always talked about in Marvel movies, like, I wanted a more maniacal one, kind of like this.
You got it.
And this one kind of went, whoa. Like me, I have a background working with animals, and it kind of got to me too. I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, when there were the baby animals,
Yes.
and oh my gosh, it was just like, and when little baby Rocket became friends with the bunny and the walrus and that
And the otter.
otter, I
Yes.
couldn't remember what she was, and then he just killed them.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was, I knew, like, somewhere along the line with somebody, one of his significant friends from his past were going to
sure,
die.
but I didn't think they'd all three die within 1 second of each
Right.
other.
When she got shot, I was like, oh, okay, so that's going to be his big emotional thing.
yeah.
And then you turn around and the other two, it took me a minute to realize what had happened. I was like, oh, no.
Oh, and then when Rocket went straight on, like, feral and attacked his face,
Right.
I wish he had clawed his eyeballs out.
Which,
like,
can we just be honest, at the end of the movie, that was a little graphic.
that was...
I kind of, like, I don't say I'm too desensitized to things, but, we all see clips of The Walking Dead and things like that. And there's zombie movies everywhere, so you're kind of like...
And also, there are nurses in the world.
Right. So you kind of get a little desensitized to things, but even when I saw it, I was like, oh, man.
You know what he looked like? He looked like Darth Vader.
He looked like the
with
Red Skull, let's be honest.
Blood and gore.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Red Skull is, so I can't.
You Captain America, the guy with the red face, first movie, long time ago. You don't remember it at this point.
No.
Yeah.
So, probably a combination of Darth Vader and the Red Skull.
Sure, yes, but even
Remember
more...
when Darth Vader took off his mask and his nose was like all messed up? Oh, and kind of like Voldemort.
We do not speak of him ever, but on this channel...
We also don't speak of him, but
on this
anyway.
channel. So, yes, the villain was maniacal, almost over the top in how sadistic he was. So, I asked for it and I got it, and it was like, I'm good with this.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were asking for.
The other thing too is I think they did an almost good job with him in terms of like story and stuff like that. But then I felt like we pulled away from him almost too much for a little bit, and then he became a backseat character.
He did, because then we got really invested with the Mateo from Superstore character, the actor that I don't know.
Well,
his
I'm
name.
talking like even after that, but yes, you are correct in that.
What was his name in the movie? He
I
was
cannot
wearing
remember.
all white.
The assistant
he was,
with the thing in his head.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know, he had 2 assistants, but then we really got the plot line of one of the assistants.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you kind of started thinking, well, is he the villain?
Right.
Because he's got the chip in his head to save Rocket.
Oh, I didn't think that, but I thought he's just a underling.
He's just a minion.
Minion. A bad person who's serving a bad dude. But they all kind of turned on him too at the end too. That's how like
Which was weird.
Well, no, but think about it. That's how overboard this villain thing went, because they even said, we've been doing this and maybe we don't like it, but now you've reached a point where we can't deal with this anymore. And that's like how he just destroyed all them, destroyed the whole counter Earth planet thing that he was building all there. That one was almost a little bit, I think they kind of went too far onto that stuff. So that's enough with the villain. We've talked about that enough. Let's talk about the main characters that we're
happy.
Yes. Well, it's not all happy.
Okay, but let's talk about one small happy thing.
Okay, what you got?
Okay, well, I want to hear what you thought was the happiest moment.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, that's kind of the end of the movie. That was kind of sweet.
This is spoilery.
Yeah, I want to save that to the end there. But obviously, Rocket's story, if that can include sad stuff too. Now we've watched his arc go from the first movie, where he's this jerk bounty hunter, second movie, where he's still a jerk and he's catching flack for being a jerk, but he's starting to find his place in the family.
Yeah.
And then now in this one, he's fighting for all his friends and his family. If you remember, there's even a line from Volume 2 where he shoots I think it was Gamora to keep her from leaving the ship when the Ego was blowing up, and said, I've lost too many friends today. Like, you know, it's kind of this, you don't think about it. When you think of Guardians of the Galaxy, you think of Peter Quill, Gamora probably first. But this trilogy's been about Rocket.
Of course.
And to see him
Rocket is like the secondary character to me. It's Peter Quill, then Rocket.
I mean, in some ways it is. And I think that's the great thing about this trilogy now, or series, we'll just call it, because maybe they'll do more somewhere down the line, that they have done a good job of not making the movie just about one character.
And that's true. It's truly the Guardians.
Yes.
It's
not the Peter
Spider-Man
Quill and the Guardians, show.
Right.
Like that type of thing. Which, at the end of the movie, maybe they said Star-Lord will return. So maybe we're going to get like a solo movie or something like that. So yeah, that was a good thing. Yeah. What about you?
I honestly thought it was a good thing that nobody died. None of our Guardians. Because Kyle, in the first 20 minutes of the movie, I thought Drax was dead. I thought Groot was dead. I thought Rocket was dead. And I thought Peter Quill was dead. So,
I think everybody, like, there was a moment I was like, oh, that's it. That's
also, don't go to the movie theater with Kyle, because the whole time you're there, Kyle's going, oh, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. Every time Drax would like get a hit to the face, and he's like, oh, he's dead. There, he's dead. And then I just would like almost start crying. And I was like, great. Because I didn't realize how much I loved Drax until I kept thinking he was dead half the movie.
I think, so there are a couple of things here. Like, there's like, I don't know if necessarily the contracts are up and things like that, but I think a lot of these actors were kind of almost done with their time with Marvel. And I know the director, he's moving on to DC, the other universe thing. So
good luck.
You wondered, were they going to make this a big emotion? And they did make it a big emotional thing, but by taking someone out or multiple people. And
and the whole movie, he's dead. He's dead.
But when it was Drax, Mantis, and Nebula all together stuck on the ship at the end, I was like, that's it. That's the three of them. Because think about it. Drax's story has kind of gone its course. Nebula to some degree too. And no offense to Mantis, she's a fun character, but she doesn't
actually add anything to the plot.
So I was like, that's gonna be it. It makes sense.
Then the whole end of the movie, you kept going when Peter was out in space. Obviously his face blew up.
Oh, and did you notice I bet they did the face blow up thing this time, because remember when they did it with Yondu, his just kind of crystallized. Like, just like his did, but like, supposedly that's the science behind that. If you were in a vacuum in space, your face would kind of, you would kind of puff up. And I don't think you explode, but like, it's like the gas or something expanding inside you or something like that. So that was kind of scientifically cool and accurate, I guess.
Yeah, but what wasn't cool is Kyle in his chair right beside me going, Peter's dead, Peter's dead, Peter's dead, Peter's dead.
When I realized that he went back for the thing, I was like...
Kyle literally goes, that's it, he's dead. And I was like, great!
And then, so while he's floating there in space, dead as I thought...
And then everybody's screaming at him.
I just... Oh! Well, because Groot reaches out with his, twigs, and those freeze off. Yeah. And so everybody's trying one last thing.
No, and Rocket.
Yeah.
I couldn't take any more trauma from Rocket. That was... Ugh.
They took him out for like half the movie, though. He wasn't there, basically, outside of his flashbacks.
Do you think that's because Bradley Cooper didn't want to be in the movie?
No. But so this is what happens when you have ensemble movies, is you've got to separate into smaller groups, and you've got to almost eliminate somebody from the equation, so to speak. It's kind of like what happened in Infinity War before Endgame. Hawkeye wasn't in there. Ant-Man wasn't in there. There's such, you don't have time to do all that. So if you're going to tell a story about Rocket, you can still remove him and tell the story for a little bit.
But he was really in the movie because we saw his background. So it's not like Bradley Cooper didn't have a lot of lines.
I thought it was that's why I say when you ask that question, no, I don't think that was at play at all. But, yeah, when Peter, I thought he was dead. I really did.
So, okay.
I was like, that's it. That's the one. Every time, I know we said that 1,000 times. We thought somebody was dead every time.
I probably wouldn't have thought people were dead as much if I had been in the movie.
Sorry, I got a little invested.
Okay. What was worse for you? Well, actually, that's not a fair question. How hard was it for you when, after we had seen all the animals that were in the cages, then you saw the children?
Ooh,
and you didn't anticipate seeing children because the whole movie we thought it was just animals, not saying that that's not traumatic and horrible.
Right.
Well, but then when it was
humans or sentient beings in this, let's take humans and say sentient beings like higher level than animals. Like they have that higher brain function type of thing as far as we know. So yeah, when we go to that level, it's like, oh my gosh. We talked about it earlier with High Evolutionary. But you add the layer upon layer of just badness on this dude. Just, and it was kind of like, ugh. See, that's the thing. Ulysses Klaue from Black Panther, I hate that they killed him off. Spoiler alert for that, by the way.
Too late.
He was maniacal, but all he wanted was just to make himself rich. This guy was he was Thanos evil, but just evil. Thanos, at least, you could kind of walk with him.
I mean,
and
that's
then you
true.
Go, no.
There were redeeming qualities about Thanos where you kind of your heart kind of went out to him.
Yeah.
There was never a moment in this where my heart went out to this guy.
Yeah.
Literally never. Not even when Rocket was clawing his face off. All I was thinking was, Rocket, kill this man. Literally take your claws to his carotid and murder him.
Whoa. That got violent really quick.
Rocky was the one on his face!
But you just were rooting for it. I was not expecting that viciousness out of you today.
He was evil! I would never wish that on anybody, but only in...
Anyway, so I know you said this when we left the theater. You wished that Gamora and Peter had gotten back together.
Right at the very end, the whole movie, Peter was pining after her and wishing she was the Gamora that he knew. And then at the end, there was that really sweet moment.
He had idealized her.
Well, and also, how weird would it be, if I saw you and you were a completely different person and had amnesia and didn't know that I existed in this world. That would be so hard, to rationalize that you don't love me, you don't know me, but we've got all of this history. And so then at the very end, when Gamora was, whatever her line was of basically, I bet we were
fun or something
like that. Yeah, I bet we were fun. And she leans in. I'm like, freaking kiss her. Oh my gosh. Y'all almost just died.
I think that was a good character arc for Peter, though.
I'm sure. Blah, blah,
because
blah. This isn't a romance movie. I know. All of y'all Marvel people.
When they said the line at the very beginning about his grandpa back on Earth, I was like, oh, we're going to see the grandpa at some point. So here, since we're getting towards the end of our video here, let's go ahead and talk about it. I'll talk about the last post-credit scene. I guess technically there's a mid-credit and a post-credit. The last one. It's a simple thing. He and his grandpa seeing each other for the first time. Or actually, they had already met.
That was in the movie. That had me blubbering.
Yeah, that was very sweet. That was horrible. This guy's lost everybody. His mom, his girlfriend, his father, who was also a psychopath in a giant planet. Yeah. He's, nearly lost all of his friends, too. And he finally comes home. And I think that's why it's great, because this is the time for him to spend the last few moments he has with blood and not worry about Gamora.
There's a lot of blood in this movie.
There's a lot of alien blood, and I guess technically human blood too.
But yes, I get what you're saying.
So obviously the last scene's just a little throwaway funny thing, but the whole he gets to spend time with him. And
remember when they walked in his granddad's house and his granddad's like caretaker or nurse or his wife. She seemed a lot younger though. If he's in his 90s. Anyway, could be his wife. Whoever this person was that obviously loved him, you know, Peter didn't know her, and he walks in the house and you see all the wall of Peter and his family, and oh my God, it had me crying. I was like, oh.
That to me is a great way to kind of next time we meet Peter, he's probably going to have been passed away, but they spent that time.
Peter's going to be passed away? Or
the grandfather. They said Star-Lord, they said Star-Lord is going to be back.
Returns again, yeah.
Not Peter. Quill.
Wait, I thought Star-Lord...
He is.
They're not one and the same?
But sometimes things are deliberately
I hate
said.
Marvel. Like, I really... freaking... You know what? You're probably right.
Use your words.
I have no words because I hate when Marvel, like, kills somebody and then they bring them back. So is this going to be an episode, like, where a thing where they don't kill somebody, but then in reality they are dead?
No. They think about how much money, Chris Pratt's going to want to come back. This is a way to kind of retell the character in a new way. Anyway.
So they're going to make Rocket the new...
Well, he is the new leader.
He's the new captain.
So let's talk about, so mid-credit scene, we see they have disbanded. We knew this was the end. We didn't know what the end meant. We thought lots of death. Thankfully, that wasn't the case in terms of our Guardians.
We thought lots of death.
You did too.
Only because of you!
So they disband. Drax is taking care of the little girls, which was really sweet too. Let's be honest.
My gosh.
Very sweet.
Yes. Drax is like the best dad.
Nebula has found her calling in leading this new community on Nowhere, their headquarters at the floating head thing of the Celestial. Mm-hmm. Mantis is going off to do something with the big giant squiggly things.
Which seems fitting for Mantis.
Sure.
Weird
that
wild card girl.
I would have much rather her stayed with Nebula and them. Like, that felt a little forced to me.
She's a wild card. I like it.
She is. I don't know. I just didn't like that one. But then, we already talked about Peter going to be with his family. Gamora going to be with her new family, the Ravagers. Which, again, that was also kind of, I was like, that's okay. I would have much rather her do something else, too. But it is what it is. But now Rocket and Groot have reformed the Guardians, keeping Cosmo, keeping Kraglin, remember Finn guy, who took over for Yondu.
Kurt from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, it doesn't matter about Gilmore. Stop bringing up the Gilmore Girls. If you bring up Gilmore Girls one more time in a Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel situation, I am going to lose my mind.
You've already lost it.
So I said Kraglin, Cosmo, Groot, Rocket, Phyla, who is one of the little girls that was rescued, who's apparently a bigger Marvel character. Don't know a ton about her, so forgive us on that. And then, I'm forgetting, Blurb, the little cat thing. And we didn't even talk about Adam Warlock.
Oh, because he just felt so, to me,
That's
felt
probably
so
a reason.
Forced
Yes.
in the movie.
Except
that he saved Star-Lord.
So I think this proves the point about Adam Warlock in this thing. There were moments I was like, okay, I kind of dig the way they're going with this. Look, I know a little bit about Adam Warlock in the comics. But I understand this is a little bit of a different take on him and things like that. I kind of liked it at times, but he is basically a throwaway character who is utilized as a plot device in this. I'm glad that he's sticking around because he apparently has always been part of the Guardians in the comics, and so now he truly is. And they need a super being there, without Drax there, and I guess Peter to some degree since he's part Celestial. But I can't believe we just now started talking about Adam Warlock.
Because he just wasn't like, okay, he was the opening scene psycho dude that nobody could kill, and that I thought killed Groot and Drax and killed everybody. And then he saves Peter at the very end. But kind of in the middle...
It was a quick turn.
Yeah, and then kind of in the middle, he was useless. Yeah. Like, sorry, he just was.
Well, and they kind of explained that he was taken out of his cocoon too soon. He's basically a child still mentally, and so he's learning how powerful he is. And
I feel like, it was just a failure of the...
I wouldn't call it...
The eternal being, the ethereal being.
The what?
The bad guy, what's his name?
Oh, you're talking about the High Evolutionary.
High Evolutionary. That's what I meant.
Anyway, so there's our thoughts quickly on Adam Warlock. We'll be talking about him in future iterations. But for now, the Guardians still exist, just a new version of them.
We don't know.
We don't know.
For everything in Marvel, we literally don't know anything. I
think,
mean, you do. I don't.
Yeah.
Ever.
I think that's all our thoughts on it, unless we didn't cover something. We got all the emotions.
You can add your comments in the chat.
Yes.
The comment section, and that will probably spark some more debates.
Yes.
For us, because we'd love to hear y'all's thoughts, because there's just a lot to cover in this movie.
There is. So, obviously, as you're heading out of here, Jessica's giving you the reminder about the comment section. If you haven't, subscribe if you can, because we got lots of great content out here.
Yeah.
And you can get all the other stuff from us here at Eye2Eye, where we talk about anything and everything Disney. Until we assemble again.
May the Force be with you.
And we'll see you real soon.
Bye.